Welcome to a new Harry's Garage video, and this one is going to feature the Lamborghini Huracan Evo Spyder. I've driven the Huracan before, but not in the latest Evo form and not in Spyder form, convertible form. And I've been lucky enough to have this car for about 3 weeks over the Christmas period to really get to know it. Where this sits in the range, there was the Huracan Performante. That really set a new standard for the junior Lamborghini supercar. Crazy performance, uplifted engine, 640 horsepower, and clever aerodynamics. And on Trofeo, our tyres did amazing lap times, etc., around the Nordschleife, under 7 minutes. And then there was a feeling, I think, within Lamborghini, could we use this engine but in a less hardcore version? And that's where the Huracan Evo comes in. So it's got the Performante engine and just a slightly more usable, road-focused sort of category. The price is slightly lower as well than Performante. This car is 218,000 standard. I'll go around the options in a moment, which makes it about £20,000 more than the Coupe. So, how have I got on with this car? Well, it's been an interesting few weeks. Let's go and have a closer look. As ever with Lamborghini, there's the craziness of the design, and it continues with the Huracan. It just gets better, those sort of cat's eyes of it that sort of pouncing, looks as though it's going crazy speed standing still. It's just a bit of, real fun. You want a wow factor of Lamborghini, and this Huracan Evo continues that trend. The rake on that front screen is it's remarkable. I can't think of a lower car than that. It's really emphasising this Spyder form and the high bustle at the back. It's on 20-inch wheels, P0 on this example, 245, 30 section at the front and 305, 30 section at the rear. What gets me is it's carbon braked as standard, black calipers on this car. You choose your caliper when you're speccing the car, and yeah, it's nice that it's not on winters. I've really been able to use the performance of this car, and wow, is there some performance we'll get to when we get onto the road. But with 640 horsepower, that Performante engine is just magic. I also weighed this car because Lamborghini is one of those companies that only give you dry weights. I think it's 1542 kilos they declare on this car. When I weighed it, it was 1676 kilos, a fair uplift from where the dry weight is. Look up the front. You have a little boot. It's 70 litres in here, so less than half the size of that McLaren we had. But these are quite fun. These are the little sort of toolkits you get with Lamborghini. And I love these. Look at these white gloves. You get the same on the Countach with Lamborghini. Okay. There's just another little few tools in there, etc. And I also like this badge here. This just tells me the colour of this car. I'm not going to say it in my worst Italian language, but it's £9,500 option, this rather vibrant orange on this car. Let's go and have a look around the back. Now, I'd love to show you the engine, but all you get on the Huracan Spyder is this flap that opens up here. These are the two air intakes, and here it's a dry sump system, so this is your oil weigh, check your oil, etc. But the engine is down further forward, and because it's the Spyder version, that's where the soft top lives. And if I do open the back up, or you just get a plate over it, so the engine, I'm afraid, on this car you can't see. But what I really want to show you is inside, because there's a story. When you're sitting in this car, there's a problem. Now, what I couldn't get over with this car is when I get in, first thing I want to do is put the seat back, and then I discover, no, the seat is all the way back. So I'm just so close to the pedals and the wheel, and it just feels wrong. And I think, well, backrest. So I put that all the way down. No, it stops there. And I can't tell you how compromised. I just want the seat to go way back. And I thought I was going mad. And then I got the tape measure out. What I'm going to do, I'm going to measure from the brake pedal to the back of the seat. So I don't know if you can see, if I come down here, the tape measure is against the brake there. I would say, there's the brake pedal, there's the back of the seat, about 96 centimetres, there you go. Right, now that's just a number. And let's just see how that compares to some other cars in the garage. of all cars to have in the garage at the moment, I have a Ferrari 16M here, and I drove this in. So there we go. Put the tape against the brake on this car, and then the back of the seat, and that is 115 centimetres. And just think of the difference there is there. 115 centimetres plays 96. That's how far back the seat goes in this Ferrari compared to that Lamborghini. And I thought, wow, that's mad. No wonder I want to put the seat further back. So I measured the most compromised car in this collection. Let's go and have a look at the Countach. Let's have a look at this one. Like the odd seats in the Countach because they're like deck chairs, but it's about 105 centimetres there or thereabouts. If you just look down there. So again, it's about nearly 10 centimetres better than that Huracan Spyder. I measured the Elan and the Esprit, they're all around 105 centimetres. It's slightly common. My ideal is about 112 centimetres, I've discovered having done this exercise. But 97, I'm just touching 6'2". I basically really struggle in this Huracan to even drive it. Well, we'll get onto the road in a moment, but I just can't believe how compromised it is behind the wheel if you're of more than average height. To actually have less space than my baby Elan, Esprit and Countach by about 10 centimetres, I'm very surprised at that. And I would say you need to be anything over about 5'8", 5'10", you're going to struggle in that car. But anyway, let's take it on the road because there's some things to really enjoy with that car, if you fit in it. First thing that greets you is Huracan Evo. Great script on the dash to say you're in the new car. The other thing you notice is the display here, infotainment system. The old car never had that. It was a sort of mix of buttons and knobs and stuff there, but this has got this dash layout. I've started it in Strada. We'll come on to that. I have Strada Sport and Corsa on the wheel. And as you see, I've got the roof up. It's a drizzly day, typical UK winter day, unfortunately. You obviously start at the button, so we're seeing in the Aventador and stuff, and you have this underneath here, reverse. I just pull that up like that, and I go backwards, or I just press a paddle and I go forwards. All very clever, starts off in auto. Right, I'm going to just disappear, go out in the village, and you'll join me as we're just heading into Burford. First thing you discover is you get going in the Huracan. It's a good car for going slowly in. Off the Aventador, that always immediately sort of feels slightly clumsy and the gearbox is sort of hesitating and things. With the Huracan, it's just this smaller package, and it's got that dual clutch transmission, and it just gets on with the business of getting out of town and doing traffic. Much better than the Aventador. It just feels better sorted. The drivetrain in auto mode is actually quite impressive. You're tight. I mean, I'm at the roof. I'm sure it's drizzly outside, so I'm right in the roof. My head is touching the headlining, and it all works. But one thing, like Ferrari, Lamborghini have put all the controls on the wheels, including the indicators, wipers, and stuff. It's okay here, going around this junction like this, they self-cancel, etc. But when you come to a roundabout, it all goes wrong with the indicator. I can remember taking my test, and I seem to remember what you're meant to do according to highway code is indicate your exit after you pass the junction up before the one you're leaving at. Get what I mean? It's been a while since I took my test, but it's just what you do, isn't it? Go around the roundabout, I'm turning right here, got around that one. Right, I want to indicate I'm turning left. Oh, where's the indicator gone? I have to look down and use this silly thing on the spoke of the steering wheel and go the other way. It's the same control as I get on my motorbike, where it works fine because you're gripping the handlebar and your hand doesn't move, you do it with your thumb, all good. But on a Lamborghini, you cannot do it without looking down and sliding this little thing the right way. No, it's just not on. Ferrari do it, They have left and right on left spoke and right spoke, so you do less looking at the steering wheel to do indicators than I find I do on this Lamborghini. But basically, no one else is putting indicators, wipers and things on their steering wheels apart from Lamborghini and Ferrari. And I'm sure Lamborghini are only doing it because Ferrari did it. McLaren don't do it. They have wonderful stalks that work perfectly. Porsche do that as well. Why does Lamborghini think it has to do this? The only reason Ferrari put things on the steering wheel is because Montezemolo wanted close links between the F1 cars and the road cars. And the F1 car has all the controls on the steering wheel because there's nowhere else to put them in an F1 car, because it's all completely wrapped out and there's, you know, no space for all the buttons. I can sort of understand Montezemolo from a marketing point of view, but Lamborghini isn't in F1. It has a nice layout. There's no reason why it too couldn't do stalks. If McLaren can do it, well, I'm sorry, Lamborghini, you should be able to do it. And things like the headlights, I've got a button here for headlights. If I press it once, it flashes. Oh, the other thing, you've got to turn the lights on. There's no auto lights in this car, so I turn the lights on down here. And if I actually want the headlights to come on, I have to press and hold to put the headlights on. If I want to dip when somebody's coming towards me, nothing automatic, I have to press and hold until they go out again. If I just touch it, they just flash. I don't know, wipers are here. And then if I'm on my soapbox having a grumble, it's all very nice, this new system here, infotainment and nav, and it sounds good. But if I want to do volume, I have to look down, press a thing that looks like a speaker, and then put the volume up and down on this thing here, all the time looking down there. Why can't I have a knob to control the volume like every other car, but not in Lamborghini? No, you're going to have to do it down here. I read somewhere it's got gesture control. I've tried everything, waving at it. Nothing seems to put it into life, so I'm not sure about that one. It's just, I know Lamborghinis are, you know, they've always been, there's something that niggles, but yeah, I could do without this many just when going slowly. It has one saving grace though, which we'll get to see in a moment. The best button on the steering wheel is this one down here, and it's got lit up at the moment, Strada. If I flick it down, I get Sport. I want to go completely hooligan, I go to Corsa, track, but I'm not. I'm going to go to Sport. In Sport, the valves open on the exhaust, you sort of hear this sort of much deeper bellow. I get Sport and orange on there. Engine management system. Fault, please contact the workshop. That's not a very good start. See if I put it into track and another one. Is it going to go away? Stop this car and restart, I think, because it's not happy. Huracan Evo. Ooh. Oh no, it's still red. No, we're good. Looks like we're good to go. There's a motorbike that's coming out. Right, back to Sport. Wakes you up, doesn't it? The drivetrain on this car, off the scale good. I hope you can still hear me, but it's just wonderful. This V10 5.2 litre, it's always been in the Gallardo, obviously we know it in the Audi R8 as well. It's magic engine, and the last R8 I had out, it was fantastic. It's just turned up to 11 in this thing. Oh, those gear changes, I mean, it is a marvel, utter marvel, this engine and gearbox. It's almost enough to get me to forget about the things I was mentioning when we were just coming through Burford. Almost. Also new on the Huracan Evo is four-wheel steer, which it's very subtle. It just makes the handling that much tidier. What I'm most impressed with is how they've set up the damping. I've gone back to Strada. The ride on this is borderline good. It shouldn't be good at all, not on such an aggressive, wild car as this. But actually it seems to generate way more wheel travel than it appears on the outside. God knows where that comes from. And the damping is just softer. And there's hardly any roll because the car's so flipping low to the ground. There's dry sumped, isn't it? So that engine's super low in the chassis. And it's generally a really good car to cover miles in, if you fit in it. Well, it isn't quite so good in consumption. So since setting off, 13.9 mpg. See if I can make that a little bit better. That's trip 1, trip 2, 16.8 mpg. Yeah, it's not its star turn fuel economy on this car, as you might imagine. Chrono, you can do lap times on there. Next service is 242 days away. It's all very sensible. It's all that Audi-esque within it. What isn't sensible is just what it sounds like. And trying to control your speed in this thing is the hardest job on earth. You want to taste that upper end, that wildness from about 7,500 RPM on to 8.5. It goes crazy, this engine at that revs. In third round here. Feels sharp, turning's good. Oh. Brakes are amazing as well. Feels so agile around it. I think it's because they've got that race program, so they've developed this car, we're using that. But there's a confidence-inspiring dynamics to this car that I really don't remember from early Gallardos, and Huracan sort of bettered it. It was always on the safe side, but this just feels wild and exciting and exactly what I want a Lamborghini to feel like and sound like. Guys, that's hard not to enjoy yourself in this car. I say, just the Aventador has a completely different feel to the Aventador. And I love the Aventador, but I have to say, as a pure drive machine, this is better. So, summarising this Huracan Evo Spyder, we have to start, I suppose, with the downsides. Cabin with asterisks. You have to be a certain size to fit in this car, as I've explained. I find I can do about 40 minutes in this car and then my left leg is dead. I've just had enough, and I'm really surprised that it's like this in 2020 to come out of such a compromised car as this. Coupe, buy the Coupe if you're taller. If you want a Spyder, go buy a McLaren or Ferrari. You can't really live with this. Boot space if you're touring, etc. It's got a small boot, but it is tiny, probably because of the four-wheel drive. Well, they've just announced they're going to do a two-wheel drive version of this, and maybe that's the one to have. These controls are driving me nuts as well. Yeah, sort of, if you take out the roundabouts, then it's not so bad. If you don't drive at night, it's not so bad. It's a bit like the seat, it's not so bad if you drive with the roof down. It's much better with the roof down. But then again, I've got the angle of where the windscreen comes to. The top of the windscreen is sort of, it's like having the sun visors down all the time in this car. So the visibility isn't as great as it is on the McLaren. Yeah, and then the price. I didn't go through the option. This car's got nose lift on it. It's got an enhanced stereo system. These seats are actually an extra 2,700 plus VAT extra electric seats. Go for the sports seats, which are manual, same ones you get in the Performante. That does yield some extra centimetres, and you need every centimetre going with this car. All told, with the extras, this car is £272,000. And that's just nudging the price of an Aventador S. Crikey, I know which one I'd have out of those two. But the positive positives, think of the positives. Just the drivetrain, that V10 needs to celebrate. 5.2 litres, 640 horsepower, revs to 8.5. It's a masterpiece, utter masterpiece, and matched to a gearbox that is equally as good. With what's happening and going to electrification, we're going to look back on this sort of drivetrain in awe. Oh, it's mega drivetrain. Can't think it's in top 5 for me for a normally aspirated engine. 123 horsepower per litre. Responsive. Bottom, there's great power at the bottom end. There's even more power at the top, and it sounds glorious. With four-wheel drive and the four-wheel steer, you can go very quickly in this car. It's an upside and a downside because you end up going a bit too illegal for my liking to really enjoy this car. And the performance is electric. I mean, it just dips into the 2s, I think, to 60. So we're 3 seconds and probably 6 seconds to 100 with the roof off. The little window at the back, I ought to demonstrate the roof, shouldn't I? The roof can operate it down to 30 miles an hour. So here we go. There it goes. So clever the way cars can do this now. Roof off. And you just get to enjoy the noise even more. Really civilised convertible. No air blocks needed because you've got those little humps behind each seat. That little glass window which I control with this. It is a wonderful convertible. As good as it gets. So, I love Lamborghini, I love everything about them, and I wanted to love this car as well, but I can't because I'm just the wrong size to fit in it, unfortunately. It's not for me, this car, and I think it's a bit pricey, but if you're the right size and you do fit and you want to enjoy one of the last of the wildest normally aspirated engines on sale in 2020, then the Huracan is for you. And I wish you have great times together in for many years because this car takes some beating. It's just a sensory overload so long as you fit. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, well, keep watching Harry's Garage because there'll be more videos coming along very soon.